Okay, so I just got done watching High Lane, and this is a survival slasher film which takes place in the mountains. It's about a group of friends. They go on this hike on this abandoned trail, and when they first get to this trail, like the main entrance is blocked off. There's all these warning signs like "Do not enter," "Do not progress past this point," and so they decide to disobey the signs and they climb over the wall, and one thing leads to another, and they end up in one of the worst scenarios they could possibly imagine. And so for this review, I'm going to keep this review strictly spoiler free because I want everyone who's watching this video to experience this movie, because this movie I never hear anyone talk about. Like, this is such an underappreciated gem in the horror community. I feel like this movie deserves to be more talked about because this is a damn good horror movie. It's a damn good survival horror film. Um, and I didn't see the trailer to this movie. I read the synopsis, and that was it. So I don't know what the trailer does show. If it does show any of the spoilers, but I did not expect this movie to go the direction that it did. Um, Especially in the second act, once shit really gets real. I did not expect what did happen to happen, because I had no idea what this movie was going to be. Like, I knew it was going to be like a rock climbing kind of movie, but I did not expect it to go the direction that it did. Maybe because like that, I stayed away from any marketing that this movie did have, and I encourage everyone to do the same, because it makes the experience of this movie so much better if you go in completely blind. And this is a movie that, like I said, I didn't know much. I did not know much. And I feel like that really added to my experience of this to this movie. And so the first thing I want to talk about is, secretly, I feel like this is a wrong turn sequel, because as I was watching this movie, like, I just kept on seeing comparisons and similarities to the Wrong Turn franchise, and I think this movie would work extremely well, like as a Wrong Turn sequel. Like, watching the first Wrong Turn and this movie back to back, like if this movie did had like made a few tweaks, I think this movie would make an amazing Wrong Turn sequel, because it captures like that, captures that, like that grittiness and that rawness of the Wrong Turn franchise. And just all throughout, like once I actually arrive to this, trail, like the main entrance is blocked off, and so you're like, yeah, you know something's up from like the first frame. And so in a way they decide to take the wrong turn. And then once they get up to the top of the mountain, which is where shit really happens, um, there's all these booby traps set out, and it felt so much like a Wrong Turn like sequel to me. And I think like this captures what the first Wrong Turn I think did so well. And so yeah, just secretly I do feel like this is a Wrong Turn sequel. But yeah, this is a standalone, survival slasher film. But yeah, let me know if you have seen High Lane. Like, let me know if you did get Wrong Turn, Wrong Turn feels when watching this. But yeah, putting that aside, how is the movie as a standalone, as itself? This this is a movie that relies on tension and suspense, and like as any good movie does, it nails it. Like, the suspense and the intensity of this movie is insane. Like, right from the first frame, like, something's up with the whole blocked entrance, and there's all these signs, and there's these symbols carved into the rocks. It's just, something's up, and it just gradually, like, the intensity just gets gradually higher and higher and higher from there. And it's and this is a very suspenseful film because this is very hard to say without spoiling it, but once you don't see who's pulling the strings until the very ending of the movie, and just it keeps that anticipation to so much higher, like not knowing who's doing it, and you're seeing it kind of all through POV and all off screen. It makes that suspense and that anticipation and that weight like so much higher. It adds so much to the mood and the tone and the tension of the film. And I thought this film, like I think this film deserves a lot of credit for its for its tension building and its suspense building, because it really keeps you on edge. It keeps you on your toes for the entire movie, and it never once breaks tension or suspense. And just like there's so many scenes in this that keep you on edge. Another thing I really liked in this movie is the cinematography. The cinematography is breathtaking in this movie. The way the director chooses to frame a lot of the intense sequences that I just briefly talked about. Like our first scene, our first like real tension, building scene is with this bridge, and the way the director chooses to frame this sequence is really intense, because when you first see this bridge, this is not a bridge that is in very good condition. I'll put it that way, and it makes for a really on edge sequence, because the tension, when you think that the tension it finally is finally relieved and it's finished, another incident starts up the second after, and it just keeps on building and building, keeps that tension alive. And a lot of that is through the cinematography and the direction of this movie. But the cinematographer does a great job at framing the location and the height that these characters are at. And it really added a lot to this movie, and it keeps. I think it very much does add to the story of this movie, if I'm being honest. The acting by everyone, I think is amazing. I think everybody has that one moment to shine. They all throughout this movie, you think that that this character is going to be our so-called final girl, and then nope, something happens, and then you think this character will be our final girl, and then nope, something happens, and it keeps that anticipation for who will be the last person standing in this movie. And it keeps you on your toes in so many areas, and it works so well as being a survival slasher film. I don't want to talk too much about the ending, because the ending I did not expect, and really this movie surprised the hell out of me. Like I said, I did not expect this movie to get under my skin the way that it did. And this is a movie that's also very loosely based on true events. There's this end title card where it talks about the disappearances of these people, and that was shocking to actually see to see the number of people that have gone missing and have never been found. To me that is terrifying. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is a movie I highly encourage everybody to check out, especially if you're a fan of slasher movies, and if you're a fan of the Wrong Turn movies in particular. This movie delivers on everything that you would want from a survival slasher film. There's a lot of twists and turns in it, which I feel like a lot of people will like. But yeah, if you have seen High Lane, let me know down in the comments, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was meh, or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, have a good rest of your day, evening or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.